Hey everybody, welcome back. This is Freddy with Freddy Can Fly. In this video tutorial, I thought we would take a little bit of a break from all of the crazy learning and words being thrown around and collective management and 3D and all that jazz. And I wanted to cover something a little more basic and technical at the same time, and it's also known as a lifesaver. I wanted to go over auto rotations. Now guys, like it or not, autoing is something I feel that every serious pilot needs to learn sooner or later, because having autos under your belt and knowing how to auto rotate, especially in the event of an emergency, can be the difference between spending 50 bucks during a crash or thousands depending upon your make and model. Okay, and yes, I know autos are scary. You kill the power, it's literally a 50-50 chance whether you're going to bring it back or not. But just know, guys, there is a way to slowly work your way into autos, and that's what we're going to cover here. So to start out, the way I used to learn my autos when I was starting as a young buck back in the day, which was a Wednesday, I used to I'd bring my heli up into this collective free hover here, and I'd let my hands off the collective, and I would do what's known as just a float down auto. So from right here in our collective free position, I would just hit throttle hold. You'll see the heli just kind of floats down. Okay, now when this happens, don't ever give a sudden pitch adjustment or anything. Leave your collective where it was when you hit throttle hold and just let it float down. What you do want to pay attention to is the cyclic. You still want to balance the heli and make sure you land flat on both skids, or you can result in a tip over or a crash or a blade strike. Okay, so once again, you know, we're out flying, we're doing our thing, we're getting crazy. We're going to start working on our autos. We're going to bring it into our collective free position, and we're going to just let it float down. Okay. After you get used to that, after doing it a couple of times, and you kind of feel like, okay, I'm a little more comfortable with hitting the throttle hold switch and disengaging the motor and letting it float down, what we now want to do is we want to start learning how to properly apply pitch to set us down soft. Another thing we want to try to avoid learning is how much pitch not to apply. And what I mean by that is if I do a float down auto and I give positive pitch, you'll notice I start to go up. But now that I've ran out of head speed, the heli is just going to start falling, and I lose. You'll notice the blades almost stopped entirely. Now in real life, chances are they would have probably stopped and I would have hit the ground pretty hard. So the key to it is you want to think of it this way. Right now our heli's a bank account, okay, and our helicopter has got a really nice savings account, okay. Now, as soon as we hit throttle hold, we want to continue saving our money in our bank account until it's the right time to spend. And the key to it is to not spend so much that we break the bank, so to speak. We want to spend just the right amount that the bills are paid and everyone's happy and we got a little bit of money left over. What I mean by that is if I'm in a collective free hover here, I'm in my bank account, and I'm going to start saving money here. Now when I spend just enough that we have a little bit of head speed left over. We still have money in our savings account. That's what we want to look for. And guys, when you hit throttle hold, your collective pitch is very, very sensitive. A little teeny tiny nudge goes a very long way. You know, so if I want to do a float down from about here, let it float, let it save. Now slowly start to spin, start to spin. We still have plenty left in our savings, okay? And this is what you want to slowly work your way into. Just let it float, collective free. You know, we can even do it from about this high if we want. It's just as soon as we hit throttle hold, let it float, and then gradually, very slowly increase into the positive range with some money left in the savings account. You'll see how that head still has a lot of speed left. Okay, this is important for anything that's probably like 10 feet and above. You know, I mean, we can do it from about here, but the higher up we go, that head speed starts to drop more and more, and it's going to get harder and harder for us to stop. Okay, so that's your basic intro into autos. I really like the bank account metaphor. I'm sorry if it's a little silly. But once we get past that and we're a little bit more comfortable doing those, now we want to start learning how to gather head speed. And the way we're going to gather or increase our bank account is once we're a little bit higher up here, the goal to it is to apply the smallest amount of negative pitch, if not sit almost right about like a -1. So if we hit throttle hold, we're going to give a little bit of negative and then start to spend as we get into range, and then we'll be able to land safely. Now what the negative pitch does is, think of it like this. If we've got that negative pitch on the blades to where we're falling down, the force of the wind going up against our blades, which are propelling down, it spins the head. You know how if you blow into a fan with your mouth, the fan spins? It's that same concept, guys. To keep our head speed running, we want to apply some negative, let that fan motion kick in, work the cyclic, and then start to spin. We still got enough in our savings account, okay? And this is what you want to work your way into as you get higher and higher. I mean, obviously we can use this rule, and we can take the heli all the way up here and just let it float down. Give that little bit of negative, let the heli float. Just let it float, let it float. Start to spend our money, start to spend it. Plenty of left over, okay? Now, this is just your basic hovering auto practice. Once you get good at these, I then started practicing entering them with momentum. So what I would do is I'd take my heli out here, and I would come at me with some momentum, and then go ahead and hit throttle hold, and then kind of learn how to stop it like that, obviously given the opposite momentum. And the key to these, you know, stopping your autos with momentum is going to be what's known as, it's a little tricky to call the flare. And the way I used to practice for doing flares, without doing throttle hold, I would do this. I would take the heli out, and I'd come at me with lots of speed, and you want to be able to stop that heli with precision. So if I'm going like this, we're going to flare back with some negative, and then positive and elevator at the same time to stop us. See how I did that? We'll do another one from this way. Stall turns come in really handy right here. We can hit a stall turn, then we can come back into our flare, okay? And here's the flare right here. Both negatives, both positives. And what I mean by that is we go negative collective and backwards on the elevator, and then to stop us completely, we're going to go positive collective and forward on the elevator. So we'll do another flare here. So we're coming in, we're going to pull back, stop us, pull forward, okay? Now, when we apply that with an auto, what the flare does is it like supercharges the head almost, to where it'll build up lots of speed. So we're coming back, we're going to hit throttle hold, and we're going to flare right here, and then we're going to pull back and we're going to stop us. That flare gives you lots of money in your bank account. It really saves you up a lot of money for you to spend. So once you kind of get used to that, guys, you can kind of start playing around with autos a little more. Coming this way, you know, if we want to come nose in, same thing. We still got to keep that flare rule. We're going to flare it back, then we're going to ease forward, spend that money right with enough left in our bank account, okay? Once you're used to these and you're confident and you're getting good at those, then we can start getting crazy, you know. And it's the same rule, guys. The higher up the heli, you know, you need to let it float at negative a little bit, save up that bank account, and at the last minute, flare it up, spend that money wisely so that we have enough left in our bank account to spend later, see? So basically that's it for autos. Autos is another one of those things that's really hard to teach you how to do, because, you know, in real life your nerves come into play. You get scared, you panic. You know, given that little bit of negative is actually kind of a tricky concept to get. So, and then also how sensitive the collective pitch is, because if you over pitch, we'll show you what an over pitch looks like. If I'm all the way up here and I hit throttle hold, look at this, blade stop completely, and there's no way to get them going again. I mean, well, technically there is. Some people have done blade stop autos, which is really cool. But for right now, we're not going to worry about that. So we're going to do another one here. Okay, we're going to get a little bit of negative in there. Cyclic to glide the heli. We're going to flare it, and then we're going to spend our energy wisely to get us down nice and soft. Okay. So that's about it for autos, guys. Later on, when we get into more advanced flying, we'll tackle inverted autos. But just know, guys, be ready for autos at any time. If I'm sitting here flying my crazy 3D flying, right, and all of a sudden my heli wants to bail out, oh, my motor died, boom, I can float it down safely. It didn't spend any money just now. That's the reason why these helis have, you know, a one-way bearing setup, is so you can auto-rotate. So we'll hit this last auto, guys. I hope this video was useful to you. We'll do a really high one. And get out, start practicing those autos. Start slow, work your way up into big, because I promise you the day will come that you have to auto when you don't want to. And it's either going to make or break your machine. So I hope the bank account metaphor wasn't too much. That one was really sketchy. But we'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching. And remember, if Freddy can fly, so can you.